Alright guys, so here's one of the coolest things about this journey, and it's making sure that you understand what your story is. See, we all have a story. We all have a story in our lives. We all have a story that we've lived. And we all have a story that we're constantly telling ourselves about who we are, what we deserve, what we expect, what life's done to us, what our opportunities are, what our belief systems are. And the interesting thing is, if you start to go back and look at your life, you have a theme to your life. Now, later on in this series, in the last email, I go actually very personal in my story. I'm very vulnerable in it. I hate that, to be quite honest with you. It's not who I am. I don't like that. I'm a high D. And one thing, if you've looked at some of this stuff, you'll understand that one of the biggest things is high Ds don't like being taken advantage of. The other thing is my secondary is an I, and I doesn't like rejection. So you combine not liking being taken advantage of, and you like not maybe having some rejection. And here I am exposing myself over about 15 minutes in the last video in the series, going through my very personal story about what led me to who I am, and what led me through this journey, and what some of my struggles were along the way. And at times it got dark, guys. It got really dark. And here's the interesting thing about our story. Our story, in a lot of ways, is not that much different from a great movie or from a great book. See, in every story, in every good story, there comes a time where there's the call. Okay, so the call is up here. And what the call is when does the character first show up in the story? When does he show up? Where is it for you? For me, in my theme, when I go back and start to look at my life, my call is very early. My call is at the age of 13 or 14 years old. For some people, maybe later on, maybe after they get out of college, right? Or maybe after they have their entrance into the work world, or whatever it may be. But we all have a call, right? Where does the main character show up in the story? And that main character is you. And just also like any other great story, most of the time we go through a point where we start up in the call, but then we go down, right? We go down, and we may hit rock bottom, we may not hit rock bottom, but we go through struggles. We go through adversity. We go through a point where we kind of hit this dip, right? And so we show up and we hit this dip. And that dip is that point of adversity where people are made or not, right? Where we can surrender to it, and we can give up, and we can walk away. Or what we hope happens in the story, like another great movie or a great novel, is from that dip, we have this amazing epiphany, this aha moment, this realization, and it leads to that breakthrough, right? Where we skyrocket up, where we jump through and we start to live the life that we were meant to live, where we start to have this glorious climax to our life, and things just take off like a rocket. I had that personally happen to me, and I want to see it happen to you. You may be in the dip, you may not, you may be in a rut, you may be on your way up, things may be going great for you. But if you go back and start to look at your point, I want you to start to see, what are the themes in my life? What are the seasons of my life? What common type of things start to happen over and over and over? If I'm honest with myself, what are the patterns in my life? And once we learn those patterns, once we know where we've been, we can then also apply those patterns, learn about what it is that's kind of made us make those decisions or have those experiences, and then start to look at where we're going. Where do we want to go? Why do we want to go there? What's important about that destination to us? Again, I want you to start to look at it not as the expectations of what everybody else has for you, not as to what the industry says success looks like. We don't all need to make 7 figures a year. We all don't need to do 1,000 deals a year. I don't want you all to feel that pressure. What I do want you to do is I want to give you that freedom to be yourself. I want to help you discover who you really are, and I want to help you define what success looks like for you. I'll never forget one day I was coaching my buyer's agent, and we were on a drive, and for about 6 months he'd been telling me what his goals were. His goals consistently were, I want to make 10 grand a month. I want to make 10 grand a month. I want to make 10 grand a month. And finally one day we're on about a 30 or 45 minute commute to go put a listing, sign out in a yard. And I remember asking him, why? Why is it you want to make 10 grand a month? And as we kept peeling back the layers of the onion, it was really fascinating, because what I heard him say that was important was 2 things. One is, well, I just thought 10 grand a month was a good round number. It sounded good. It's what I just think I should answer. It's what I thought I should answer, right? And the second thing is I thought it's a number that you, Jeff, meaning me, you would be happy with out of me as one of your buyer's agents. And what I really try to reinforce them is, hey, buddy, it's not about me. I mean, does it have to create synergy? Does it have to be a symbiotic relationship? Do I want us both to succeed? Absolutely and amen, right? But more importantly is I want you to be happy. I want you to figure out what that number is that has you motivated to keep coming back. And as we kept working back his budget, his lifestyle, his family needs, how he wanted to be able to make enough money but still have enough time to go do mission trips, we really came down to his number being about $6,500 a month. And what's fascinating, as we looked at that, historically that was about his number, anywhere between $5,000 and $7,500 a month tended to be his number, right? So these things are important. Now, does it mean we shouldn't push ourselves? Does it mean we shouldn't fight for that breakthrough? No. But what it does mean is I want you to know what your story is from a historical standpoint, right? Where was your call? Where did you show up? Have you been through a dip yet, or are you maybe there right now? And what do we have to do to get you to that breakthrough? I want to make sure, I'm going to give you a resource kind of to look at some of this stuff, but again, this is where our relationship is so important in this process. Some people really struggle here on figuring out what their story is. What is their theme? And guys, if you don't know where you've been, it's hard to figure out where you're going and how you're going to get there. So most of us in our lives, we're either missing a how, like a system or a tool, but the majority of us, it's not about that, right? We're in an industry where we're barraged every day with the next lead generation tool, or the next CRM, or the next website, or the next this, that, or the other thing. Very rarely is it a lack of a tool. Most of the time, what it is, what's usually getting in the way of our future success and our happiness and our joy, is we're missing a who. We're missing someone that can add that value, that can help take us along on the ride, or help lift us up, help inspire us. Sometimes it's a coach like me. I might be the one missing in your life. Sometimes it might be a person on your team that you need to hire, a hire that you need to make to help get you to that next level, right? Sometimes it's just other mentors in your spiritual life, financial life, whatever that may be. But we've got to know where you've been. We've got to know where you show up. We've got to know, have you been through the dip? And we've got to know how you're going to get to the breakthrough. And we also need to know why you're going there, guys. So go through this process. I want to make sure that you get that theme drilled in, because this is one of the most critical pieces for that long-term success, to where I know in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you're going to be there right alongside me, living the life that you're supposed to live. If you have questions and you think you're ready to go on this journey, or you just want to explore what this relationship could be like between the two of us, make sure to click that link below, MikePillarCall.com. Schedule a basic 20-minute deal. It's not a sales presentation. It's a conversation, guys. It's about us getting to know each other and seeing if we're a good fit to help each other get where we want to go. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.